Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Focus on Gaming podcast, episode number 48. I'm Martin. I'm joined by Duncan and Tom.
Hello.
Hello.
How have you both been? So I wasn't here last week, but I did see you were the episode. I did see obviously your take on the showcases.
Yes,
Yeah, it was a good one.
I was impressed. I don't think Tom was quite as impressed.
Same shit, different day.
But
it was
I watched the. So I didn't watch. I confess, I didn't watch the Summer Festival one, but I did watch the Xbox showcase. I was really impressed in terms of the amount on there.
That's true.
There was loads and loads of. The one criticism I had is none of it had release dates. It was just fall 2024, 2025, and are they going to be able to deliver on what they're promising? Because if they do, it's going to be an incredible year and a half for people on Game Pass because you've got so much coming. But have they over delivered or over promised and not be able to deliver? But in terms of the games, I mean, I feel, which I kind of knew anyway, but Call of Duty being on Game Pass day one. Not that I'm not the biggest Call of Duty fan. I don't think I played a Call of Duty. The last one I played was probably 2020 or 2021, so it's been a while. But if it's on Game Pass, probably will play it.
I'll play the campaign and maybe play against bots on the. But I don't think any of us are particularly.
But my friends play it, and they're on PlayStation 5, and the fact that it'll be multi-platform.
And that's the thing. I do know plenty of people who play. I just can't be that serious about a game, and a lot of people I know who play are quite serious. And they might not be that great, but they're still serious about it. That interests me.
Yeah, I mean, when I have played it, it has been like the main game that you play because it is quite an addictive game, especially the online. And I know some people just get it and don't even do the campaign. I always try to do the campaign. They're always pretty short, but But once you get on the multiplayer, and there's been one game where I've been actually pretty good, but all the others are pretty bad. I'm usually in the bottom of the list and the kill to death or whatever ratio, and like you have your friends sharing each other's stats. Oh, what's your kill to death ratio? And I'm like 0.6 or something like that. So, but yeah, and I'll definitely give it a go if it's going to be on Game Pass day one. But for me, the games that most excited, Doom. I think you both mentioned Doom in the last episode.
Yeah, that
was like after the Call of Duty one. That was like the first game they showed, and it was like a great way to.
What about Perfect Dark?
Perfect Dark.
Wow, I'll come. So yeah, Doom. Really enjoy. Yeah, Doom. Dark Ages.
It's like we said. It's what do we describe it? Halo. Was it Halo Chivalry and Doom Guy had a baby kind of thing?
Yeah, it definitely. Obviously, it's to say it. You can tell it's a Doom game, but it's it's really different.
Doom game, but not a Doom game. It's weird, but
good
weird.
I mean, I love Doom, so any Doom game, I'm going to look forward to. Was it South by Midnight or South?
Oh yes, that was
South of Midnight. That's the one, the big
with
fish.
the big monsters, the big crocodile.
It was different, which is intrigued. It looked quite interesting. So
I'm going to look up the developer of it because I'm sure they did something, and that's what made me a bit doubtful of it. That was it. They're from the creators of Contrast and We Happy Few. Now, Contrast I quite enjoyed, but We Happy Few, it wasn't great. Personally, I didn't enjoy
I haven't
it
played
at all.
either of those games, but
South of Midnight looks very interesting. Very
looked good. It looked pretty in terms of visually. It looked good. The gameplay looked okay. I mean, I guess you won't know really until, but what you saw of it looked pretty good. So, Perfect Dark, yeah, you mentioned that. I did.
Oh,
I was a bit worried about Perfect Dark because there was
Martin
just
seems to have. Oh, and he's back. Is he back?
Did I ever go?
Oh, yeah.
Me. Still here.
Yeah, you just cut off for a second there. That was all. So we just lost the last few seconds of what you said.
I was just going to say Perfect Dark. I know you mentioned it, but I was a little bit worried about Perfect Dark because they just went silent on it. So it was nice to see.
Yeah, I think it's been developing for quite a few years.
People like walked out, didn't they? Like all they developers, they lost developers or whatever, and then so
yeah, it was announced something stupid like about 5 years ago or something, 4 years ago, and then they just went silent.
And then the last showcase, that was one of the things, wasn't it? Was they didn't mention Perfect Dark? It didn't get like any sort of mention. So to see it and to see that it was gameplay, and the gameplay looked really good. I thought, kind of looked like Mirror's Edge in terms of the path.
Yeah.
And then so.
I was quite happy, and things like Life is Strange. I always enjoy a good story, and there was quite a lot of narrative games there. Which the mixtape I think that was me and Tom talked about looked like it quite good, especially for somebody of our age, because it's based in the 90s. It's got a sort of 80s and 90s, and so it's got a soundtrack of the time. I was very, very happy with it personally as a Game Pass subscriber.
Yeah,
if you're not a Game Pass subscriber, it's going to be expensive time if you want all those games. But yeah,
and Gears of War right at the end, which was a bit of a surprise because I don't think that many people were predicting a new Gears of War game.
Well,
it was surprised about that one.
It was rumored, but being a Gears 6, it was quite. I think the thing that was surprised people was that it was a prequel, because it's
set before, isn't it?
It's set at E-Day, which is Emergence Day. So when the locusts first popped out, their heads and went hello. And now you've got characters who I don't know. Is Dom Santiago dead in Gears 5, or did he die? I don't know, but
there's characters who have died in the Gears franchise, isn't there? So
so they'll be able to come back, or be in a different context. And
they also had the same music as the original, because when the original Gears game trailer, Gears of War Mad World was the song, and then they brought it back. So it's like the full circle.
Sorry, singing. Don't sing on the podcast, Duncan.
I watched it with because my partner was with me when I was watching it, and she's probably like the least gaming person you could meet. But she even got sort of into it, and it was quite interesting to see sort of her perspective on it. And she, her opinion was that a lot of the games look the same.
Yeah.
But the ones that stood out for her was Life is Strange, because she said that looks different. So she said that looked interesting. She was quite intrigued by Mixtape, but she doesn't know how it's going to be a game, because she's like, I don't really know what are you going to be doing?
It looked like it could be what a lot of people will use as a negative thing, is a walking simulator. It did look a bit like that, where it'll be you walk along, you get a bit of story, you walk along, you get a bit of story, you walk along, you get a bit of story, which to a lot of people is brilliant, and a lot of people is the worst idea possible. I'm torn. Some have done it very well. Some have done it pretty boringly. Yeah. I mean, Unpacking was one of the biggest games of, I want to say, 2022. And all it was you literally unpacking boxes and hearing the story. That was it. You had to put things in places.
And the other game that she liked, it was Winterborough, which was the one with the mice.
Oh yes.
Which I don't think there.
That looked like Don't Starve, I think. That kind of game.
Well, she just thought it looked cute. That was her sort of.
It
But
did.
then at the end, an owl took a mouse, and she was like, "Well, that's a bit like concerning." She's like, "Maybe it's not maybe
18 rated.
However, sort of thing she noticed was the amount of main characters that are women, and So when I was looking at it, like Avo, that was a main character, was a woman. Fable, that had a main character, Perfect Dark, Expedition 33.
There's quite
Life
a
is
lot.
Strange.
Expedition 33, that was like I couldn't quite tell. That was like a Souls like board kind of thing, wasn't it?
It was a turn-based game, isn't it?
Was it turn-based? Oh, okay, I'm thinking of a different one. Okay. So do you think that will get her gaming? That there's more female protagonists?
No. I did say that. I said I think you would like Life is Strange and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think she really would.
Story and stuff like that. But I don't know. Maybe if I get just convincing her to go on it. I think.
There's one game that I haven't played in a while that my wife keeps going, "Oh, could you please play that game?" She keeps calling it the Greek game. And it's Assassin's Creed Odyssey. She just loved me creeping up on people and stabbing people in the back and in the neck. My wife, who's not somebody who is aggressive or quite the opposite, is very calm and nice. Just loves to see me murder people.
Is that like foreplay?
I wish. I'm married. Don't do that kind of thing.
Oh yeah. My missus only plays games if it's things like Theme Park or Creatures 2 or Sonic the Hedgehog. So they are her go-tos all the time.
I used to. We did used to play some co-op games, but that was like with the Lego games.
That was before you had kids.
Yeah. That was back when we were in our early 20s, sort of.
Yeah.
Oh, all those many years ago. I tried to play It Takes Two with my wife, and don't get me wrong, she's enjoyed it, but my wife cannot get the hang of first person or third like camera control. She absolutely cannot get the whole hang of it, and you need to be able to have that control for that game. So we've got to a certain point now where she's like, she doesn't want to play really that much, but I think she really wants to carry on with the story because it's, I don't know if you know, it's a little girl has basically magicked her parents into two dolls who are then going through the garden to try and get back into their bodies. But yeah, it's a difficult one. But
I do like It Takes Two. It's definitely
puzzle games. Get my wife playing escape games like Escape Academy that's on Game Pass. Very, very good, very good. Want to get her playing.
We played some Netflix games together.
Oh yeah, well they've got quite a broad range now, haven't they?
Yeah, there's some good trivia stuff on there, and you can play it directly on the TV app. And she likes all that stuff, so we were playing that. But yeah, I lost. He's clever.
So the last thing I'll say about the showcase is that I just hope that they haven't overpromised in terms of what they're.
There was quite a few games that are coming out within the next. Well, how long have we got? 7 months. There was quite a few. There was some that were dated. I haven't got my notebook on me, so I can't tell you the ones.
if they deliver on what they've put in there, then we got the next year and a half will be pretty good for Xbox or Game Pass.
Well, apparently, Avowed, which was just given a date of 2024, in the last 24 hours, they accidentally put a quote up from, I can't remember, one of their directors. And so apparently that's coming out November the 12th. So that has a date. There you go. As long as they stick to it. So
because I was just thinking game at the moment. Just not really much is happening in gaming, is there?
Not in the next
terms of game
couple of
release.
months.
There's a lot going outside of gaming. In terms of
I think
takeovers
fall and holiday, as the Americans like to call it. So autumn and Christmas. I think there'll be a good a good amount of games for people to choose from.
I think by the time we get to September, October time, we're going to see a lot of stuff announced for next year. That includes machines.
I'm open. I mean, obviously, one of the things what was lacking from the showcase was the rumored handheld console.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, we talked about that, and obviously that was put to Phil Spencer shortly after. And
we rung him up and asked him.
Well, he didn't say no, there isn't. He pretty much said yes, there is, but without saying yes, there is. And it's I think it's basically like I think we said it's too early to say yes, this is happening, because I can see it being at least a year, if not 2 years away.
I don't think they'll wait. Personally, I don't think they'll wait that long. I think we'll get like a Steam Deck, which is basically a beta device, which it was available to go on the market. But I think we'll see an announcement within the next 6 months.
Fingers crossed. Oh, yeah, don't go wrong. I very much would be interested in Xbox.
They have to announce it before the Switch 2 and release it before the Steam Deck 2.
Well, the Steam Deck 2, I think they have said it would be at least, I think, 2026. And it is in development. I think they've said that much. But yeah, no, I'm locked into the Xbox ecosystem, whether it's owning games, whether it's having an achievement score of 260,000, I think, something like that. I'd very much, but I don't want a lockdown thing that I can only play Xbox on. I want a computer that I can natively play Xbox.
Yeah.
But at the same time, have Windows or whatnot on it.
Speaking of which, I played my friend's ROG Ally the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Really nice size machine, a lot smaller than the Steam Deck, a lot thinner, a lot lighter. The back buttons were really badly misplaced, so you could easily knock them, but you can disable them. That's good. The RGB lighting was really interesting, but it took about 10 minutes for a game to load, because the game itself, although it was installed, it had to provision the game for the handheld. So because it had been docked prior and played via a big screen. So as soon as you took it out of that, it had to do something to the game to make it available on the handheld. And that was just 4 of 5. And I was like, wow, that's disappointing.
Yeah, okay.
But once it loaded, it was fantastic, aside from the back button. But yeah, Steam Deck.
That is quite a big negative, isn't it? I mean, I haven't played one, but if you were trying to, every time you wanted to play a game, you had to wait 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes when you start up a game, even on the Steam Deck, sometimes it has to install the required software and use Proton or Wine or whatever to use that software, and it doesn't really use. There are common files that it uses, but it has to pretty much install like the C++ redistributables or whatever they're called. But that's just the first time after you've installed it. But I can imagine if you dock it and undock it and dock it and undock it, and it has to do that every time, that would be a bit annoying.
Yeah, I mean, he was a bit shocked it did what it did, so maybe he hasn't experienced that before.
Because I was considering, I looked at the reviews and I didn't see anything. Because you would think if that was doing that with every game, that would be the negative review.
Yeah, so I'd say that was probably a one-off kind of thing. But
as a design, it was very good. Just them back buttons that I thought, why are they there?
It's come down in price. It's been available a lot cheaper than it started out of. I think it started out at about £700 for the extreme version. and I think you've been able to get the extreme one for as little as I think as £450, £500.
Yeah.
And then there is the one that isn't the Z1 Extreme processor that I think has been available for as little as £300, brand new. But generally, it's like phones when you get when you get the big phone that's got all the big battery. I think generally you want the Z1 Extreme.
Yeah.
So.
I mean,
it's a good thing.
Now about 240, aren't they? For the lowest model?
You can get a refurbished one for I think it's 240 something.
Yeah.
I think brand new though, they're just getting rid of the stock of the 64 LCDs. I want to say that they're something like £279.
Even that is worth doing. I mean, the base model, I know people complain, but you can upgrade it yourself. So why would you go out and buy the top model when you can just do it yourself?
Well, when it came out, people were not sure because I bought the 256, and I mean now I regret that. I wish I'd got the 64 gigabyte because but equally when it came out, 2230 NVMe's were not really available anywhere.
Yeah.
You could only get them when they were ripped out of laptops. But now that they're widely available, it's £309 the 64 gigabyte LCD is. Refurbished is £249 for a 64 gigabyte. 512 is £319.
My son's up to like a 1.5 terabyte, I think it is. A terabyte? Yeah. And I think he got it for £65 for the SD.
Yeah, I bought. Yeah, I upgraded mine. The first time I upgraded my first one before I got it repaired, or got a replacement, it cost, I think it was £90 for an NVMe, but that was early on when they were available. But with the second time, it was £60, I think, for a 1 terabyte.
I think it's worth upgrading like everything where possible. But
Steam Deck, the storage is, I would say to everybody, upgrade the storage. Having a 1 terabyte or more is almost essential. In terms of anything else, I mean, you can get Hall effect controllers like joysticks, and the LCD. You can upgrade the screen if you really want. I wouldn't advise it though. Back plates and everything you can, but again, they're not. They don't improve the Steam Deck as anything. No. They just look pretty. I've got the RGB clear backplate, and the battery on the RGB is terrible. It's the JSOX or the JSO RGB backplate. I've had it for about 4 months and 5 months maybe, and it's I very rarely charge it because you have to charge the separately.
Bit long.
I just can't be bothered to charge it most of the time because I'm too busy charging the actual battery. But other than that, there's not really anything you need to upgrade or can upgrade that will improve the performance. You can't improve the performance at all, really, other than the screen, which is an unnecessary improvement when you've got the OLED out there. Just buy the OLED.
Yeah.
What was your so it's changing the subject a little bit, but what did you think about the reveal of the new Xbox consoles?
I think Tom thought they were a bit pointless.
More memory, isn't it? That's the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the biggest storage, and at the end of the day, I've got 1 terabyte Series X. You can now get a 1 terabyte Series S. You can get a 2 terabyte Series X, and you can get an all digital. I don't know. Is the all digital 2 terabyte as well?
No, 1 terabyte.
Is it 1 terabyte?
Yeah,
that's a bit stupid, really, isn't it? Make one all digital and give it smaller storage.
Oh, that's silly.
It's a bit odd
the
because
one that's got a disc in.
They got the all digital 1 terabyte Xbox Series X and the 1 terabyte by Xbox Series S in white. But essentially, that's the same.
No, well, no, the Series S has the less memory.
Yeah.
It has the same processor and everything. So it's a Series S, but it plays all the same games. But you're talking games might be in 720p, 1080, or 1440. Although it does do older games and indie games at 4K.
But they should have made the Series X one just 2 terabytes, both the digital.
Yeah, I mean the digital one. I mean, why make it all digital and then give it a smaller storage than the one that's got a disc in it?
But can't you just upgrade it yourself?
No, not the consoles generally. Not only is it they're normally packed in somewhere, but they normally have software on them that means you can't just take one out and plug one back in.
If you want to buy storage, it costs loads, doesn't it? Like the Seagate.
No, I mean, it's actual an NVMe right now, a 2 terabyte, a 2280, so a longer one, the one that's this kind of long, instead of the one that's in the Steam Deck that's about this big. People on the audio won't know, but anyway, the smaller one that's in the Steam Deck is more expensive, but you can get a 2 terabyte 2280 for probably I'm pulling an amount out of my backside here, but maybe 120 quid, and a 1 terabyte. No, a 2 terabyte. No, you can get a 2 terabyte for about 70, 80 quid, I think.
But that's external, though, isn't it? It's not.
That's an internal one, yeah. 2 terabyte NVMe 2280. So if it is a 2280 that's in there, £120 I'm looking at here on Amazon. So 99. There's one here that's £99. But they will be. It's a higher grade than the cheapest of the cheap.
So just looking at this, you can upgrade the Series X yourself. The internal SSD you can replace. So that's one thing.
I wonder what it is. What type it is.
You could, by the looks of it, the expansion pack is simply just a solid state drive. So you could probably do that yourself.
The expansion pack, you can actually get adapters, but apparently they don't work very well.
The SSD alone, I mean that's an easy upgrade by the looks of this. So let's go.
Xbox. Sorry, I'm just looking at
intrigued now.
Xbox expansion.
Obviously, you can connect to external hard drives as well. So, in theory,
the external hard drives, you can't play Series X games off it. No, you can't get. Oh no, you can get 1 terabyte for £144. You can get expansion. Oh yeah, 2 terabyte expansion, one that you can plug into the back, is £240.
Not the Seagate.
But that's the Seagate official one that you could just go click in the back. If you want the 1 terabyte,
I know they're not like cheap, those ones.
Yeah, the 1 terabyte Seagate is £140 at the moment. You could probably get it cheaper at some certain points, but
to just replace the internal SSD instead, it'd be a lot cheaper.
Possibly, if it really is that easy. I mean,
looks like it.
Hopefully,
I'm just someone who doesn't play around with my.
Yeah,
some people are really confident they get the screws out and stuff.
Just be very careful if you're going to open up consoles nowadays. Even with Xbox Ones and whatnot, it is doable, but you've sometimes got to get the very much the correct like for like, which can result in you've got to buy one that's more expensive than you'd like to upgrade. And so if anyone is listening and wants to do that, make sure you look it up first and research it first. I haven't done that, so.
If I owned one, I would do that.
And also, when things need soldering, I'm not a solderer. I have no clue about soldering or anything like that. So
you don't have a blowtorch.
oh, blimey! But I certainly wouldn't let a blowtorch near my console. No, definitely not.
Can you imagine?
I remember somebody once I said about using compressed air on a fan, because you shouldn't make fans in consoles and PCs spin around really fast. But I was just saying about blowing off dust and stuff. And somebody went absolutely ballistic at me for, no, you can't do that. So no, I know where to use it and where not to use it. But then there's a lot of people who don't. You might break cooling fans. You might break soldering or everything. Yeah. So there's lots of things you can break, and just be careful. But apparently the cleaning of an Xbox Series X is quite easy. I have been told that, because you just undo a few screws, lift the lid off, the whole case off, and there you go. And just
same with the PlayStation 5. You pull the outer plates off.
Yeah,
you hoover the damn thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So to clean, I would advise people, if you're having problems with your console cutting out, look out of how to clean your console, and that's generally an easy thing to do.
Put it on a washing machine. Put it on a 15 minutes.
Put it in the dishwasher. Don't forget to leave it plugged in and have the wire going into the dishwasher while you're doing it. Yeah.
Or take it in the bath with you, plugged in.
Make sure you're bathing your child at the same time.
You're cleaning yourself as well as you.
Just to confirm, the Focus on Gaming podcast does not condone taking consoles into the bath with you, especially plugged in, because that's a stupid thing to do. But yeah, do that. Totally do that. While you're drying your hair as well.
I wonder which one would survive, the Wii U or the Switch, if you bathed it.
In the bath?
The
Wii U, if you had it plugged in, yes, it wouldn't survive. But if you just chucked a Wii U in, you could just get it out, dry it, and plug it back in.
I played my Wii U in the bath once. I set the console up outside the bathroom and just took the handheld bit in with me.
Why not?
I think I probably played my Switch, the console bit, and it's always a risk, isn't it? I've dropped many phones in the bath before, and that instant when you're trying to grab it as quickly as you can, and you're like,
that's what happens when you get carried away in the bath. You just lose grip. It's just terrible.
Do you? Or do you grip tighter?
Not in your phone.
Furiously grip tighter. Are we still talking about technology here?
Of course. Thank God iPhones are waterproof now.
For that reason.
Yeah.
Totally that reason.
Yeah.
So I said we wouldn't talk about the showcase too long, but
only 33 minutes that we've been talking about stuff. Yeah.
How about that?
And now but you just work up a bit when we said about taking your Xbox in the bath with you. So that might be right.
I don't own one.
Well, so we were going to talk about somebody who we've already talked about, and that's the little blue hedgehog. Now, the reason why I came
Duncan's on medication and seeing things clearly.
You want to?
Well, the reason why, because I just fancied the last couple of days, I fancied playing a modern Sonic, and so I was like, "Yeah, let's talk about Sonic," because I've got a ulterior motive, is that I want you to recommend one of the modern ones, even if you haven't played them. I want you to advise me. But no, anyway, 1991. I was 13 at that point. So I got to play the first one when it came out, kind of thing. Not that I owned one. So did you two play? Obviously, you would have been a lot younger, Martin.
Pretty young back in 1981.
But
Depending on when it came out, I mean,
Was you barely born then? I mean, how old are you?
I was born in 1989, Tom.
Oh,
so
baby.
2. He could have played it when he was 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember 1991. I remember the no, I don't.
It's the fall. It was the fall of the Soviet Union, wasn't it?
No, that was 1989. That was when it was like near when I was born.
Well, that was the fall of. But wasn't that the
wall
fall
fell
of the
down.
Berlin Wall?
What's 1989? Oh, when you mean like Russia?
Yeah, nice fall of Soviet.
The Berlin Wall came down in 1989. I know that.
Yeah. Yes, like 1991. There you go. See. Oh, I know what I'm talking about. Not that that's got anything to do with gaming, but anyway, yeah. So 1991, the first one came out. I did get to play it, but I don't know about you. Have you actually played the first one particularly, Martin?
Yeah, I played it. Yeah, and obviously not in 1991, but
not in 1991.
Did play it because one of the first consoles I had was the Sega Mega Drive, and everyone had Sonic, didn't they? You know, Sonic 2.
But the first one, I don't know about you. It with hindsight, it wasn't actually that great. It was okay.
Yeah. It's quick, wasn't he? It's just really quick little hedgehog.
Yeah, and the thing is, it wasn't even that quick because when he got running,
he's faster than you.
But Sonic 2, he had the spin and go.
Was that when he did went into a little ball and went?
Yeah, but in the first one, he didn't have that. So most of the time, you were just starting off,
agile jog,
and then you'd hit something, and then you'd have to have a little jog. And there wasn't the levels weren't that great except for the first couple, which was I want to say Marble and
Hill, Green Hill Zone.
Was it Green Hill? But yeah,
that's the first one, isn't it? I think.
But it was alright. It was an example of how fast the Mega Drive could do this blue hedgehog, and it was. Yeah. That's my opinion.
It was impressive for the era, wasn't it? Let's face it.
It was impressive.
And
wasn't
at
great.
The time, its reviews were as good as it. You know, I was just looking at while you're talking. I was looking at the reviews for it. No company do this anymore, but there was a publication called Ace, and they gave it a score out of 1,000, 925 out of 1,000. Everyone else
Ace didn't stay in publication for very long.
Yeah, everyone else is doing it out, 98% or A plus. They've done it out of 925 out of 1,000.
Wow. Okay, but then along came 1992, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and my God, that game was good.
That was good.
It was good. I still remember. I think it was Sonic 2. The cheats for it. There was 2 sound cheats, wasn't there? Where there was the one. Now I'm not looking this up. 19. I think you had to go to the sound effects and play 1965 09 17, and then when that opened up, you had to press A and start, or down and start, or something like that on the main screen, and then you got the level select.
What were the codes again? What were the numbers?
It was 1965 09 17, I think.
Correct.
Hey! And then you went to the level select, which was it A and start, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And you had to go to the sound effect in the level select, and you did the release date, which was 01, 09, 09, 02, 01, 01, 02, 04, and you got the debug mode.
Close.
Was that? Or was it?
Pretty much.
Was it
It
01?
was 19921124.
That's what I said. Yeah. 01, 09, 09, 02, 01, 01, 02, 04. So it was 24th of November, 1992. God, I put that cheat into it so many times. I never actually owned it. This was all played on a friend's Xbox Mega Drive. But yeah, I was around there a lot.
So there was a night mode as well you could do, and the all 7 Chaos Emeralds mode, Super Towels,
Super Sonic. Yeah, you could because the debug mode you could just spawn rings or whatever you wanted. Basically, you could turn into different items, put them down as many times as you wanted, and then turn back into Sonic, pick them up, and then just zoom to the end of the level, and you won. So it was great fun.
There was a secret Towels ending as well. You had to beat the Death Egg with Towels to get the Towels secret ending.
So
okay, yeah.
So did you two actually complete Sonic 2?
No,
I can't remember. I did Sonic 3 and Sonic CD.
Because the Sonic games are actually everybody thinks of the Green Hill Zone and the Casino Zone, and those are relatively easy levels. But then once you get past those like really famous early levels, they are tough games.
They are. I used to always die on the water levels.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
like normally
5, 4, 3, and then
Oh god, it's terrifying. Hearing that, I can hear that music in my head now.
you'd then just see Sonic drown to death.
Yes.
He'd just go like that, wouldn't he, with his arms up in the air and then just fall down the screen.
It was very satisfying death, though, wasn't it? You know.
Oh, it was terrifying though. Just hearing that music.
For me, it was the fact that if you were quite far away from a checkpoint, you'll be like, how far away am I going to have to start again? Or sometimes you'd have to start the whole level again or whatever. So there was quite, jeopardy in it.
Definitely.
They had special stages, didn't they, in Sonic?
Yes, Sonic
like 3D like.
They were like, it was like a half pipe
where you collect rings and stuff.
And so the first game had the ball that you could get the blue balls, and you had to get the blue balls, and that was a 3D kind of thing. Was that number 1? And then number 2 had the half pipe that you had to collect the rings, and you had to get a certain amount by the end, and then you got the Chaos Emerald. Yeah, but
very impressive stages actually for the system.
Very much so. Very much so.
And it didn't have mode 7; it had its own variation of mode 7, and they were very good.
Reading for it about Sonic, just in terms of its popularity, it says it was a top seller on Gallup's Sega charts for the UK, Japan, and the US for months. Sonic 2 grossed $450 million in 1992, which is $980 million adjusted for inflation. So, grossed almost.
Do you know it wasn't going to be the original packing game for the Sega Mega Drive? That was actually going to be Tetris. And no,
that's cool.
And then they were
not as charismatic as he.
No.
Tetris
and then they convinced someone or other to try this game out, and it became the mascot, and obviously it was released. But originally, it wasn't the mascot for Sega either.
And I know, obviously, Sonic nowadays isn't as popular as he was sort of back then, but he sort of, not single-handedly, because there was other games, but brought that sort of console war to Nintendo. Because before that, Nintendo just had a monopoly over all the video games market, and Sonic, just being a really quick blue hedgehog, and being really popular, was able to sort of bring Sega into the console market, wasn't it? So
Alex the Kid was the original mascot for Sonic.
Oh god, yeah. That was built into the Master System, wasn't it?
That was right. Yeah.
Yeah. But no,
Yeah.
it was all right, but it was a very good mascot.
There was no Mario, was it?
No, no.
Um,
But I have so many fond memories of Sonic 2, but Sonic 1, it's only because I've gone back to it since. I'm like, yeah, this isn't that good, and I've just gone back to Sonic 2. But one thing I found while looking things up was that Sonic 3 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles was too big, apparently. So what they had to do was they released Sonic 3, and then they released Sonic and Knuckles, and it had an opening at the top that you could put another cartridge in. So you could make Sonic 3 and Knuckles. But also you could also put Sonic 2 in there and have Knuckles in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 or something like that. So basically play Sonic 2 with Knuckles. And then it would have bonus levels if you put any other game in there, if you load it up. So yeah, there was an interesting bit of technology that they did there. No, I don't remember that at all.
Sonic 3 also the music was going to be done by Michael Jackson, and with various things that were going on around that time in his career, that got shelved. But interestingly, when they looked back at it, the music, such as I think it was "Stranger in Moscow" from the History album, was actually included in the game. He just wasn't credited for it, so he was probably paid for it, but yeah, he wasn't credited for it, but it is actually in the game. So yeah, so it made it in unbeknown. So yeah.
But then after those though, it was there was the 3D Sonic the Hedgehogs.
Oh, you forgot Sega CD.
Oh yeah.
And there was a Game Gear one, wasn't there?
No, Sonic CD is a fantastic. Version.
Sonic CD was, in my opinion, the best.
And Sonic on Game Gear was a technological marvel, and very so well done.
But so good for the era.
Yeah, but now if you would never choose well, a lot of people will probably disagree with this, but you would never choose to play the Game Gear version over the Mega Drive version of Sonic. I think. Why would you?
There was actually 8 Sonic games on the Game Gear overall. So you had Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic Triple Trouble.
There was Sonic, what was it we looked up earlier? Sonic Drift as well. There was a racing game.
There was Sonic Chaos, Sonic Blast, Sonic Labyrinth, Sonic Drift 2, Sonic Spinball, Tails Adventures, and Dr. Robotnik's Mean Machine game. So
that was like a Puyo kind of thing, wasn't it?
I don't know on that one. Never really played it.
So yeah, it's like a match 3 beans or 4 beans kind of thing. So yeah, I think it was sort of a mixture of Puyo, whatever it was, and Tetris.
Interestingly, Dr. Robotnik was actually called Dr.
He was Eggman, wasn't he?
In Japan. Yeah.
Well, apparently that was just something that a Western director, kind of person did, and just went, "Oh, we're going to call him Dr. Robotnik." And it wasn't until the 3D that they eventually went, okay, where they established that they decided that they would let his real name be Dr. Ivo Robotnik, but his nickname was Dr. Eggman.
That's why he's called that in the movies. Dr. Eggman.
Yeah. So, but there's been all sorts of things where Japanese has since acknowledged the name Robotnik. There's been Robotnik Industries in various games, but yeah, no, he was always meant to be Eggman, Dr. Eggman. And it was a completely Western, like, made up without their permission kind of thing.
But definitely better than Eggman. That's all.
Yeah, I don't. What is it? Because he's round or something.
Like an egg head, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, but anyway, I'm fine with Eggman.
It was
personally.
the Sega. No, it was Sonic 3D. The one on the Saturn, was that the first 3D Sonic game? 3D Blast, was that?
No, well, there was a 3D one on the Genesis, wasn't there? There was 3D, 3D Blast.
That's the one that was
that was more of a it wasn't the Sega Saturn, yes, but it was more of an isometric thing, wasn't it?
It was actually called Sonic 3D and Sonic R. Yeah, I don't know if it had two names but Sonic R was the main release in the UK, and it was a 3D, bit like Super Mario RPG. It was that kind of style.
Okay.
Very great graphics, though. Very impressive.
I'm sure I remember one called Sonic R, wasn't there? Sonic R. Yeah, Sonic R was released on the Sega Saturn.
Yeah, there was two. And Sonic Jam as well.
Yeah, Sonic R was a racing game.
Yeah, and you had Sonic
3D Blast.
Sonic 3D on the Sega Saturn.
Yeah, there was Sonic 3D Blast was on the Genesis and the Saturn.
You could go to the cinema on it, if I remember rightly.
Okay, I never played it myself.
Yeah.
But what I did play, and now I know from something he mentioned here earlier before we came on, my favourite Sonic game is Sonic Adventure.
On the Dreamcast.
On the Dreamcast. Now, I know, Tom, you're not a fan of it, are you, Tom?
I do. I really like Sonic Adventure 2.
It was Sonic Adventure 2 was definitely a better game.
I see. I think it had more in it, and I think it had, but I don't know whether I have rose-tinted glasses or what, but yeah, Sonic Adventure for me has so many good memories. I'll probably stick with. I think Sonic Adventure is probably my favourite. Sorry,
controversial.
But it wasn't a bad game. I don't think.
Definitely the best 3D game. I reckon Sonic Adventure was Sonic Adventure 2. I would say that.
Well, I mean, nowadays we could get onto the modern ones, but yeah. So I mean, Sonic Adventure it had the cinematic levels where it had bits where you pretty much you weren't controlling Sonic. And it was so good for the time and so fast and it was pretty. Whereas Sonic 2 put more in there and whatnot, but for me, I think it overcomplicated things. Whereas I liked the simplicity of Sonic Adventure 1. Apparently, though, they did port it to PC, and it was an absolute mess. So if you go on Metacritic, Sonic Adventure DX with DirectX Cut is on 48%. So, but that's not the original one. That's the port to PC and I think another console. I think Xbox 360. So, yeah, probably hasn't aged well. I've avoided playing right through it for that exact reason. But yeah, so since after that.
It's been a lot. There were a lot on the Wii, wasn't there? A lot of Sonic games.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Mario versus Sonic as well.
Yeah, Mario versus Sonic. Those games. I mean, that was just jaw dropping for people who've grown up in the Sega versus Nintendo years. It was just, oh my God, there's a game where they're in it together. Unheard of. Shocking.
I think also one of the versions, I don't know if it's the Rio Olympics one. I can't remember which one anyway, but it really attracts a high price online. So it's a particular release. I can't remember which one, but I have no idea. It's only the Wii version that attracts the value.
Okay. Yeah. This Mario Sonic Wii Rio.
I don't know if it was Rio, but it's one of them.
There was one where it wasn't based on a. Was it Beijing? Maybe because that was that's the first Mario Sonic at the Olympic Games. That was a Wii one, wasn't it? And that was Beijing.
I don't know, but one of them.
There was a Winter Olympic one.
Well, I'm just looking at. I'm just typing in Olympics, see if there's any that come up with really high prices. Oh, there's an actual Wii here. You can get London 2012 Olympic console blue for 60 quid. Not bad. Although there's another one here that's going for 90 quid. So there's none that are jumping out that are really expensive. The Rio one is going for up to 45, 50 pounds.
Yeah, I don't know which one it is, but there's bit. I remember seeing it on some YouTube channel. There's one particular version which is sort of gets a high price, and you should always look out if you find it.
Oh yeah, if ever any game now if that I get or obtain through various means, I always check prices on like eBay and other places that grade. Yeah, I mean Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Beijing 2008 Nintendo Wii, £4.
There's a Wii U one there, Martin. The Winter Games.
There you go.
£8.
Yeah, Sochi, isn't it? And then they got Rio. That's on the Wii U, isn't it? Rio.
But still, I mean, they were basically on the Wii. They were you had to shake your wrist very hard. So yeah, boys were quite good at that.
Yeah. You were asking about Sonic games that we would recommend, modern day ones. And one of the ones that I would say is Sonic Superstars, which is absolutely wonderful graphically. It's got reimagined levels.
Well, the two I'm looking at were Sonic Superstars and Sonic Frontiers. Now, obviously, those are two very different games. One's 3D and one is. I want to say if you played Super Mario Wonder, it's Sonic's version of Super Mario Wonder. It's very pretty, it's very bright, it's very colourful, it's very modern. But there has been some misses with Sonic over the years. So I wanted to check, and they've both got okay reviews in the sort of 70s average.
Depends what you like. If you like the 3D ones, then you're going to love Frontiers. If you like the 2D ones, then
open world, isn't it? Frontiers as well. I think it's the first.
Now, have either of you played? There was a 2006 Sonic just called Sonic the Hedgehog that was on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. It's pretty much the lowest rated Sonic the Hedgehog. It is so bad that even Sonic had a human girlfriend, and I think Sonic might have even died. I don't know.
Wow!
But it's just everywhere you look online, everywhere. If you type in Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, it's terrible. Terrible in every shape or form. I was watching a video of it earlier, and literally the rings don't fall out of you when you get hit; they just appear in a ring. And apparently there was all sorts of bugs and crashes, and it was just a terrible game. Hence why it was just I think from about sort of the year 2000, early 2000s to probably 2015 when Sonic Mania came out, there just wasn't. Sonic was rubbish.
Sonic 4 was quite good though. Did you ever play that?
Yeah, it played all right. I think okay, but it was just a bit boring, to be honest.
It wasn't like the originals by any means, but it was okay. Oh, I tell you what was good. And let me get it on the screen before I tell you the name. So it was Sonic Rivals on the PSP.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely fantastic. You also had
2D?
It was both 2D and 3D.
Oh, okay.
And it was absolutely fantastic. It did feel a little bit like you weren't in control of everything, but it's definitely worth getting, playing, downloading, whatever way you want to look at it. They did also have Sonic the Hedgehog, the director's cut, but I wasn't a fan of that one. But definitely Sonic Rivals was fantastic.
There was another one that was similar to that. That was Sonic Generations, which apparently I've only just been researching tonight. Was is now actually modded quite heavily as well. You can get various mods for it, including levels, modding various characters into it, all sorts. So yeah, that was a good game. I don't know if you've ever played. It's 2D and 3D again.
Yeah, no, it was really good.
That
Also
was
available on the Wii
360.
U, then, Martin.
Pardon, sorry?
Also available on the Wii U.
There we go.
Sonic Generations.
So I think one thing we can establish that Sonic is
Finished.
he's not really. His good games are heavily outweighed by the meh or bad games.
Mm-hmm.
The actual games are okay.
I think he's more living off his legacy now, isn't he, rather than the quality of the games. I think if there was when you think of the height of his popularity, that was some point the same sort of level as Mario, and he's obviously nowhere near that now anymore.
No.
People will still buy Sonic games just because of Sonic, but it's nowhere. You're not going to have a number one Sonic game coming out and being top of the charts. But
and then obviously I think we've got to mention as well the weird Sonic the Hedgehog from the movie when they first released the movie, and he had teeth and weird. It was just all in all a bit weird. I don't know if you remember it. And he had.
Yeah,
they did change it, didn't they? They changed it.
They did. They changed it. It was a really fun film. I
loved
quite
it.
enjoyed
All
it.
of them were good.
One of the rare times where they listened to the
the feedback.
I'm just about to put a picture of the weird.
They got a new Sonic film coming out, and they got a new Sonic game that's coming out on Apple.
Yes, there is something coming out. Hang on.
I think there is. It's just coming out on the Apple one.
3D Sonic Dream Team is out. Came out in 2023 in Apple Arcade.
Yeah, sorry, I got that wrong.
Well, one game we have missed out is Sonic Racing.
Of course, yes. The transforming racing. There was two, wasn't there? There was All-Star Racing and Sonic Team Racing Transformed.
Fantastic.
I agree, totally. Yes. Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transformed and Team Sonic Racing. So the transformed one, it was brilliant because you went from flying to driving to water and it was when Mario was a bit quiet on the karting front. Because let's face it, nobody pretty much talks about Mario Kart 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Despite you obviously liking, was it number 6 Double Dash or number 7 Double Dash?
Double Dash was GameCube, wasn't it?
I do like it.
Yeah, I knew one of you loved it.
Well, Wii Mario Kart was really popular, wasn't it? I can't remember what that.
Yeah, I think that was like 6 Double Dash or something. I don't know which one it was.
But interestingly, a Sonic Athletics arcade game, and you had to run on a treadmill against 8 other players to win the race. So I don't remember ever seeing that, but very
That
big
sounds
in
cool.
Japan.
Sounds
I was going to
dangerous.
say,
though.
that's got to be
Like,
Japan.
Yeah.
I feel like some people would be so competitive that they would try and sell it so high that they would fall off.
It's called Sonic Athletics. It was released in 2013. I've just searched the web for Sonic Athletics. I'm just trying to find a picture of it because, it's just literally a load of treadmills in a row, and you run. So not exactly the most exciting game, but probably the most tiring game I've ever seen.
Yeah, 100-meter
What
dash.
would be your
150
favourite Sonic character other than Sonic? Do you have a favourite? Tails, Knuckles, or
I like the bad guy.
Eggman.
what the Eggman or
No,
the
the bad Sonic.
Oh, okay. Was it Robo? There was Robo Sonic, wasn't there? And then there was
what was the black one?
Shadow.
Shadow, that was it.
Because he had his own game, didn't he? Which was it wasn't a platformer. He had a shooter game. I think it was. It wasn't very good. But yeah, it was Shadow the Hedgehog. But I think wasn't he another one that started a bit like Knuckles, started as a baddie, but then decided he was actually good.
Knuckles a baddie, was he?
Yeah. Knuckles was originally. He was brainwashed, but he was lied to by Eggman, and tried to hinder Sonic, and he then realised that Eggman was the one who was a git, and so there was I think there was Shadow. And then there was also Robo Sonic.
And then the girl Sonic.
Well, there was Amy Rose. I think she was, I want to say Sonic 3, or around that kind of time.
Cool, you wouldn't get away with calling the black Sonic Shadow nowadays, would you? Bloody hell.
Well, I'm just trying to find out where Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog. Where is he? Yeah. Anyway, Amy Rose. Amy Rose is like his girlfriend. Oh God, I did put a picture up at one point of all of his friends. There was loads of them that were
all them bunnies.
Yes, you had the big purple one. You had Shadow. You had the Croc one, who was a baddie.
No, isn't there?
There was a robot. Tails. There was the bat one. It's like a bat. She had big ears and
Rogue the bat.
Was that Rogue or Rouge? Something I don't know, but one of them.
Jet the Hawk. I've never seen him before. I'm just looking at him. So much silver.
A lot of these came out of the cartoon.
Black Doom. He seems.
That sounds like some weird kind of dildo, that doesn't
it? Well, you've already got two hedgehogs going at it. You might as well add a dildo into the mix.
Eggman's grandfather, Gerald Robotnik, with the DNA of Black Doom.
That's
it does look pretty scary.
All a bit weird.
In Ready Player One as well.
Probably there was quite a lot in Ready Player One.
Beam the Dynamite.
Quite a few. Sonic.
Yeah, he was.
Friends.
Ray the Flying Squirrel. He looks pretty fun.
So he had Cream and Chip. He had a friend called Cream.
Just gets worse.
Sonic Friends, Cream. Cream was the bunny rabbit one. Let's that's a bit of a dodgy name. This is my friend Cream.
And my black mate Shadow.
Well, it was very, very Japanese. Let's just say.
Clearly.
Now, hang on. I just had a thing called. I see. So the little blue thing that hangs around with cream is called cheese. So it's cream cheese or cream and cheese. So that's a little bit less gross sounding. But equally, most of the friends are forgettable. Probably Amy is one of the easiest to remember, but I think Tails is the only one that everyone remembers.
Did any of you either watch the cartoon?
Well, I mean, there's about 10 of them now, isn't there? Sonic X, Sonic. I think Netflix has released about 3 different ones. But no. The earliest cartoon, no. I think it was on Sky anyway, and I never had Sky.
Neither did Richie Sunak.
Neither did Rishi Sunak. I was just thinking that. No.
Yeah. You and Richie Sunak.
Yeah, I've got something in common. If only I had the 650 million quid that he's got in the bag. Minimum, probably. But no, I didn't have my family were 4 channels is enough. And that because that was before Channel 5. Yeah, so no, I didn't.
You would have been like almost an adult when Sky actually.
It was 19. I want to say 1989. So
early 90s. I thought it was 1990. Early 90s.
Was it 90? I don't know, but yeah, I'm about the same age as Richie Sunak, I think.
I think Richie Sunak early 80s.
Well, let's have a look. He was born. Oh, he's 2 years younger than me. Blimey. So yes, it would have been 1991. So I would have been 13.
He's also 2 billion richer as well.
Well, no, he isn't. His wife is.
His wife is. Yeah, that's true.
So let's not give him more credit than he is. But yeah. But it was such a hard life, wasn't it, in the 1990s to not have Sky? That was just proof that you were poor, apparently. Which, I mean, I wasn't rich, but I wasn't particularly poor. But we still didn't have Sky. So yeah.
My sister had it, and when we used to visit her, I'd watch it and make the most of it. But but at home we had Telewest. So.
So you didn't have to worry about poor signal?
No.
That was cable. So
yeah, cable back in the day. So
right, so I think Sonic is meh. We all like Sonic. We like the idea of Sonic, but the actual games of Sonic only have a couple of good ones. I think that's probably that.
They seemed to peak in 1992, didn't it?
Sonic? Yeah. Unless
there's been a few little peaks since.
Yeah, there's been a couple of bright lights, but never quite reached
Shadow
his
being
full
one
potential.
Of those bright lights. Black Demon, or whatever his name was.
And on that note, right, so we've got a few things I think that we need to say. If you are listening on Google Podcasts, you need to find another podcast provider. We obviously can see where people are listening. So if you are listening on Google Podcasts, I could highly recommend if you are on Android, Podcast Addict. Or I mean, you can listen to us on Spotify, on YouTube Music, all these. We are on all of these places. But yeah, Podcast Addict is a fantastic podcast provider. What's the other thing? I am still on the 6th of July doing my 24-hour stream, 2024, 6th of July 2024. And so yeah, I think that's about it. Anybody got anything else to say?
Well, one thing I can quickly say, do you know it's been 35 years, almost the day that Tetris was released in Japan for the Game Boy.
35? 35 years, is that all?
35 years, yeah.
1989. I suppose, yeah, that would be when the Game Boy came out.
Makes me feel quite old, actually.
Oh, God. So many memories.
The Russian game.
Ding, 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 ding,
Yes,
ding,
that
ding, 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 ding.
There were
Ding, ding.
funny enough, there were two versions of that, and the original version had different music. So,
Well, it's a good job to do that. Yeah, it was one of those games that I think the original creator got nothing from it.
Was he Russian?
Yeah. Yeah.
have you watched the movie, the Tetris movie?
No.
I have
well
seen
worth
a
watch.
documentary about it, but
On Apple, isn't it? Is it on Apple or is it on Disney? I can't remember.
Apple, yeah, but it's well worth a watch. And what's nice is, to spoil it, right at the end, the guy gives him the rights back to the game.
yeah, I think I saw a documentary, but it wasn't like a big budget one. I think it was just somebody on YouTube kind of thing.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a nice end to the story then.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Till next time.
Till episode 49. Nearly at the big 50.
Let's get pizza.
Like and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.